Okay, so new day, new episode. Today we are going to talk about some of the AI-related topics. Specifically, we're going to talk about some new developments in terms of the situation surrounding ChatGPT. Let's say, influences that has over the job market, because some things are starting to change.
Yes.
A lot of people have been announcing a lot of those changes. We're going to talk about some of the legal frameworks that are being discussed all over the world in terms of regulating AI. Coincidentally, a topic that we announced that is going to happen months ago. So basically one of our first episodes, there is a part about that. And then we're going to talk about some specific use cases for AI that we think that might be most affected in both positive and negative ways. And we're going to use our job as an example for that as well, to kind of like have an educated discussion about what's the logical next step. Okay? So with that being said, welcome to That IT Show podcast, where talk meets tech, and let's roll the intro. Okie dokie. What's up, Mr. AI?
Yes.
You love the AI. Come on.
Yes.
Let the AI floodgates open.
Okay.
Talk to me about the co-pilot. That's the first topic.
No, we are going to start with blockchain.
Okay, that makes as much sense as everything else that you could possibly think of.
Yes, because I wanted to first talk about the regulation and what is happening in the regulation part. And the reason
then
why
the wind of change blew to your head, and you went to blockchain.
No. I just wanted to start with the blockchain because if you remember, the previous disruptive technology that was so disruptive that everybody was talking about it was blockchain.
Okay.
We are now into 5, 6, 7 years of blockchain technology being developed. Yeah. The regulation of the blockchain is just now starting to hit the markets.
Okay.
So just now, blockchain is getting regulated, mostly because of the amount of money that is exchanging hands, not because the blockchain
because of the frauds from past couple of years.
Not only that, but money laundering, criminal organizations using blockchain, black market, and everything else. Yes. So basically, what the governments of the world decided is that blockchain is a problem when it became a financial problem
or a power problem.
Yes,
okay.
Before, it was just a fringe technology that was interesting to not a lot of people.
Like open source community 25 years ago. Those hackers.
But we still don't have a regulation of the open source community.
Gee, I wonder why.
Because there is no money involved.
Right, as IBM and Red Hat would definitely say out loud.
But the actual money is not exchanging hands. This is a normal thing that companies can sell, so nobody is trying to regulate it.
Okay.
And I think that this is an amazing example, because coming from blockchain or the open source idea to AI is something that is in the middle. AI is in the middle of the road when it comes to regulation. It is going to create a lot of money. It is going to create some sort of a problem with the things like morals, like ethics, like.
We have to talk about that too.
So some smallish problems that are going to be created for the society. That's nothing that we cannot just simply ignore. But I think that the money thing is not as important as it is in blockchain. So I'm not expecting that the regulation itself is going to be as big and as overreaching as it is right now trying to regulate blockchain. Because I don't think that when it comes to politicians, do you think is the ethics the first word that comes to mind?
Not necessarily.
Morality?
Not really.
So regulating a technology in regards of morality or ethics, not politicians' cup of tea.
Okay, if I can add a metaphor here for a second for discussion. I think that the way in which AI is currently being touted as the technology that is going to be used for XYZ, those XYZs are a quantum shift in the way in which technology works, just like the invention of steam locomotive was and the invention of computer was, etc. I think it's such a quantum shift.
Yes, but I think that
And
we need to take
As a result,
back.
as a result of that, I do think that they're going to regulate it quite a bit faster and more than a blockchain. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, but this regulation is not going to be okay. My 2 cents is that this regulation is not going to be so overreaching because right now people don't know what AI can actually do.
Okay.
The first wave of AI-inspired things, I think, has passed. We are right now in the middle of trying to figure out how the heck to use the technology. So the corporations think that they need to put AI in everything.
Correct.
AI cameras, AI microphones, AI walls, AI lighting fixtures, whatever. Right now, you're not in a technology company if you're not creating something with AI in it. And I think this is just basically a placeholder for ideas that are going to come later. Right
Okay.
now, AI as such is not so strong. It was strong in the beginning when people were getting accustomed to new technology. Right now,
Like a novelty.
basically the novelty. So creating artificial images or AI images, creating sounds, creating text, creating applications, and that is basically it. Okay, it is becoming better and better with each new iteration. New versions of applications exist that are amazing. New Photoshop is amazing. The Copilot that you mentioned already in Microsoft is also amazing technology.
We have to chat about that.
Yes, but they come with their own sets of problems. But in all, AI is not as right now is not as transformative technology as it was meant to be. We are not into personal assistants that are able to parse all your data and then create a separate page for you out of nowhere. Google has been doing that for the last 10 years or so. So
That's what I was about to say. And Alexas of the world and whatnot.
Yes, Alexa of the world still remains meh technologies at best. They're working.
Unless they lock you out of your own home.
Yes, this is the one thing.
Or security system.
And the other thing is that they are not able to use any other languages other than English. They are mostly capable of doing translation, but they are not using AI as it should be used. Google has not gone the way of the AI as quickly as they more or less try to promise that they're going to do.
Bard seems to be very good in accordance
And
to some
Bing
of
also seems to be very good. Bing Chat seems to be very good, but are you using Bard?
I haven't had it, I haven't had time to use it, but I checked some of the articles related to that, and a lot of people swear that it's not only getting better, it's way better than what it used to be.
Okay, and are you using Bing Chat?
You mean ChatGPT or
Yes.
Bing Chat?
Bing Chat.
Yeah, no.
And this is the main thing. I don't know a lot of people who are using actually
Those two,
AI
yeah.
technologies for search. And these are two most popular and basically the only two completely free technologies based on AI. Because for everything else, you have to pay some amount of money. ChatGPT is not free. You can use it for free, but you are not getting the best results. The programs that are using AI also are paid programs. You have free versions of different programs, but they require somewhere to run. So you would either have to have a pretty decent computer to be able to run, I don't know, Midjourney or something like this, or Stable Diffusion. So you either have to have the hardware or need to pay somebody else to have the hardware. So
Or some kind of a license or a cloud or whatever.
so basically, it is not running as swiftly and as quickly as we promised, or it looked like it is going to.
It was promised.
Yes, but we were, myself included, we were too romantic. We were trying to make this this AI sound like a romantic new technology that's going to change everything.
Maybe you were.
The number of changes that I was expecting that are going to come to fruition right now is much smaller than what I was actually expecting to do.
When we started this episode, I actually thought that you're going to make a point to start with Microsoft Teams. Just to annoy me.
No, because Teams is everything that Microsoft is or has always been doing.
Turn to 11.
Turn to 11, and just it's basically showcase what could be done with AI and then how the end result looks like.
But they do have the integration with their AI engine.
Yes.
And it supposedly works rather well. Transcription and stuff.
Okay, but to be completely honest, once it loses its mind when it's trying to do the transcription, the results are hilarious.
Okay, that's fine.
I was listening to a presentation done by a colleague of ours, and suddenly I was listening to the presentation, and the transcription sounded like he was having a brain stroke. Basically, the transcription suddenly went off the rails, completely.
You mean CC? Closed captions?
Closed captioning and then translation.
Okay.
Because it completely lost the plot. He was suddenly talking. The presentation was on Linux. It is talking about eggplants and doing some garden work. So the problem is that the transcription themselves are okay if they are done in an ideal world. And Teams are usually not used in such a world. You don't have ideal microphones. You don't have ideal video quality. So
it's not only that. Those tools, and this is something that is discussed with a colleague of ours yesterday, those tools require you to speak in a certain way, with pauses, with, a little bit more of a slower type of expression. And if you stop at the wrong time, you're going to confuse it. Stuff like that happens a lot.
Yes, and coming from my background and the way I talk and the way I express myself, this is not going to fly.
Don't get sick.
Yes.
Express yourself, okay?
Anyways, and the other thing is that if you take a look at any source of AI news, I'm just looking at Science Daily, but whatever. The headlines that are connected to AI today are not huge things. They're just saying, okay, there are going to be sensors, there are going to be new technology, there are going to be a lot of promises. But the actual things that are happening are not keeping up with the...
So you missed all of the class action lawsuits, you missed all of the stuff related to regulation, you missed all of the examples of how people perceive that AI is going to take their jobs. Etc. etc.
No,
so you missed all of that, or are you just purposefully ignoring it?
No. I'm just right now. I'm trying to make a sense of what AI is actually doing, and then we come to the human part of it. Mm-hmm. So first, people being scared that they're going to lose their jobs, mm-hmm. and at the same time, big companies laying off people who are not implementing AI because they are not implementing it quick enough.
Did you hear about that story? I think it was from India. That a guy fired 90% of the company's support staff,
yes,
and changed them, basically exchanged them for an AI agent because it is the right thing to do.
Yes, this is the one. This is one of those things, and I think this is the transition period. So,
but we already had those sorts of technologies. IVR is there to make your life miserable in customer support and has been there for 15 years. Yesterday, I waited for 20 minutes for our telecom operator to answer to my customer support call after I went through the IVR menus.
Yes, but the thing that we are talking about right now is that I'm not seeing the usual things that are happening with the new technology. Suddenly, you have a new technology. Nobody knows what it is going to do. The lawyers come to the scene. They want to do something. This particular technology is pretty exposed to lawsuits, mm-hmm. because it is reusing a lot of stuff that has been done in the past. It is doing the same thing that the remixing did to the music market in the 80s. So suddenly people realize that they can use a new technology, samplers, mm-hmm. To reuse other people's work, music, to create derivative work, music, but on a whole different scale, mm-hmm. because suddenly you don't need people, mm-hmm. so you can do it much quicker. But other than that, We have seen all of those things. We have seen reuse. We have seen copyrighted use. We have seen unlicensed use. Everything that we are talking about right now with the AI has already been done. The only difference is the scale and the ease of use. Because right now, the Roland of the yesteryear that created the samplers was an accomplice in redistributing stolen work back way then. Today it's Microsoft or Google or whatever is the AI equivalent of the Roland, because they are creating the tools, but they are not responsible for this. The only thing that can be said is that they are reusing other people's work that is taken from the internet. I'm purposely not saying stolen from the internet.
Yeah, because the jury is still out on that one.
Yes.
And we are not lawyers, so we are not going to be making a verdict of that.
Yes, but the only thing that I see as a huge problem is that suddenly you cannot believe the reality that you're seeing.
That's been the case for God knows how many years.
Yes, but suddenly you are much more likely to come into contact with AI-generated content, and this content can be done in such a way that you cannot distinguish it from reality. And this is going to become a problem not only because of the things that we are going to be living in, but also because people are going to start falsifying trips, business trips, images.
As influencers have been doing for years.
Yes, and this is going to become a problem.
More than before.
Yes, this is the other thing. The other thing is that you are going to be, I think that you're going to be much more desensitized to creative art, because you're going to just be quickly over your head in new images, new music, new whatever, that is going to be the carbon copy of whatever is in the market.
Okay. Question for you. As you are our resident AI aficionado, please tell me, how does the GitHub Copilot work from your understanding?
You mean technically or
technically speaking?
It's basically a parser that is able to create. It has created a large language model of the entire GitHub or whatever is the repository that they were using, and then it is able to suggest the particular piece of code that you are demanding when you are trying to code inside your Visual Studio or whatever is your integrated development environment of choice. So basically, it helps you to code. There is an interesting lecture done by Scott Hanselman on how to create a game using a Copilot. I think it was done on Microsoft Develop or whatever the conference was in a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago. And it's amazing thing to watch. So basically, you can create an entire application if you know what you're doing. But as we said before, you need to know a lot of the things that you are going to be doing, and then Copilot can help you. If you don't know what you're trying to create, it is not going to work.
So you mean just like ChatGPT in a sense?
It is ChatGPT in a sense. It's a more specialized ChatGPT instance. It's just the basic language model or the model that is created based on programming languages that are available on GitHub. ChatGPT was made using everything on everything on the internet. So it's a specialized case of ChatGPT, and it works great. It is able to understand how things work. But unless you know what you're trying to accomplish, you cannot ask it to create something that you cannot explain to yourself. And unless you already know what you're trying to do, and you are able to break the things into small modules that you are able to use, Copilot is not going to help you.
Does it work? Does it provide you with the code if you start typing the code for something?
Most of the time, yes.
Is it the code that's valid?
Most of the time, yes. But you need to do the tweaks and changes in the interface and changes in the way the functions are called, because it requires enough knowledge to be able to say, okay, I need to call this function in such a way to conserve memory. I need to call this function with 2 arguments not instead of 3. So you need to tweak things a little bit in order for them to work. So it's a good tool to avoid repetitive tasks, but it's not a creative tool.
Okay. I find it interesting the way in which you define this. You really sidestepped some of the things. So you said, so it's a tool that's a large language model that uses information available on GitHub.
Yes.
Which is a very diplomatic way of saying what it does from, let's say, a professional standpoint. Do you want to rewrite that code, perhaps?
I have no problem with saying that it uses information based on GitHub. The problem is that, is it allowed to be using this information?
Did you look into this? Is it allowed?
I don't know.
I read about the fact that a lot of people are saying that it's not.
I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know what is the direction this is going to take.
I mean, there is a class action lawsuit happening for that as well. And Microsoft tried to get it dropped, but they failed. So there might be something there. I don't know.
It is possible that suddenly, when using Copilot, you're going to be provided with the compulsory open source license that your code is going to be released under. This is one solution. So suddenly you're going to be paying for a service that is only going to enable you to create the code that is going to be open source.
Yeah.
This is one solution. Another solution is that open source completely gives you the ability to create closed code solutions if you attribute the code correctly.
So that's actually a very good standpoint, because what I'm reading from an article which I read before, basically, GitHub and Microsoft are claiming that because GitHub users decide whether to make their code public and agree to terms of service that permit the viewing, usage, indexing, and analysis of the public code, then the site's owners are within their rights to incorporate the work of others and profit from it.
Yes, but it is the same with all the other, I don't know, games, applications, and so on. You can incorporate open source when you attribute the source. This is the first thing. And the other thing is that if you want to redistribute the code, you can. You just need to give the link to the code that you got the initial code from. This is one thing. And the other thing is that you can initialize the code. I don't see the problem with somebody using a Copilot, code being generated, and then Microsoft is saying, okay, this part of the code needs to be licensed. This is the fee. The same way it works with the music in the movies.
If that happens, which it hasn't, I think, yet.
It hasn't happened yet, but there is also an established way of doing it. If you want, licensing, you can
or copyright or whatever you want to call it.
You can license a particular piece of music or video or whatever for your movie or your YouTube video or whatever. You just pay the license fee, and that's it.
So I have no problem with a part of the statement that I just read, or a part of the text, which is the site owners are within their rights to incorporate the work of others. If they made it public, if they signed the terms of service, which clearly stated what's going to happen, I have no problems with it. But profit from it, that's another ballgame for me. You understand why?
Yes, but then I think that this is going to be one of those things that are going to become self-regulated even before the class action lawsuit is going to be done. Because I think that people who are dealing with the code on GitHub are going to just stop publishing the code on GitHub. There are alternatives, and if you don't want your code to be reused in the Copilot, you just don't publish there. And this is probably going to be quicker and be sold quicker than the class action lawsuit. The only thing that could probably be is the residual. So basically, what is happening with the code that has already been written and reused from the code that people thought that they're never going to get not paid for in the application. If that makes sense.
Do you think that this might lead to an NPM situation of a couple of years ago? Do you remember?
Probably yes.
Because somebody might license a part of code, put it in a repository, basically GitHub, or in this case, it's going to be Copilot that's going to chew on it. And then somebody uses it and somebody retracts that code or whatever.
Yes, this is one thing. And the other thing is that this is much more interesting, is that people are using ChatGPT and not Copilot, but ChatGPT especially, to debug the code.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that seems to me as a much more serious problem.
Okay.
Because there's already been an instance of Samsung, I think it's Samsung engineers, using ChatGPT to debug the code, and then this code appeared in other people's code
Leaked.
because the models and the device characteristics for new Samsung models was leaked through the code, and people saw it. So suddenly we are becoming a society that cannot distinguish between actual code images, source material created by humans, and source material created by artificial intelligence. When it comes to images, it's the same as with the code.
Do you see any way of protecting the privacy of the data of said company or said companies there were multiple use case, multiple reports of many companies' employees?
Yes.
Copy pasting basically corporate data and private data of the people employed there into ChatGPT, which it basically then learned about, and that appearing as snippet of code in other people's questions and answers. Do you see a problem for the privacy aspect of that to be solved?
No, I see just a business opportunity for a company. I see that Microsoft is going to sell you a subscription to a service that is going to keep two separate language models. One is going to be your private language model belonging to you, to your code, that is going to take into account all the code that you already created, and then create its own language model, and then connect this language model to the model that they created with ChatGPT, and say, okay, this is going to always be separate one from the other. You're just going to pay for the fee for the using of the larger model.
So that basically companies can become involved in a scheme in which even more user data is widely available to
yes,
people.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I hesitate to think what happens to your head when you're relaxing, man.
No, the problem is that, for example, let's call any document management system, Alfresco.
Okay.
Or paperless. We were talking about Alfresco paperless in a couple of episodes ago. This model can be used in the ChatGPT.
Okay.
So you have your own documents. Your own documents are getting indexed and sorted, and whatever is being done, so stored on your local servers. And you can have a local AI able to search through the documents.
Okay.
And if you need more generalized queries, you can do those using the language model that is provided by Microsoft. You can just use the local version of the ChatGPT, or you can use both of them, or you can just use the Microsoft one. They're just going to provide you with the license fee to use the large model that they have created. And this is going to work.
That seems interesting. Okay, never thought about that.
So a local trained model is going to provide the information about your own proprietary information. So, for example, the company we work with, all the documents inside the company are going to end up in one database. This is going to be closed for Microsoft. It's going to be closed for everybody else who doesn't need to have the access to it. And then all the general queries that cannot be answered by this language model are going to be rerouted to the Microsoft image model, and that's it.
Oh, Lord help. Okay, the next level of the question is about the one of the latest OpenAI lawsuits, class action yet again, which is about the company OpenAI's use of training data that was scraped from public internet. Where do you stand there? Because that's basically what ChatGPT does in the commercial version, correct?
In both versions.
In both? Okay.
Yes, because they had to have data from somewhere. ChatGPT is notoriously wrong when it comes to citing. So citations and trying to understand where the information came from.
Basically impossible.
Basically impossible.
Okay.
And I think that this is one of those things that the regulation is going to push Microsoft and the other providers.
Side question to this. Wasn't ChatGPT trained with books? Or just internet?
Honestly, no. I honestly don't know.
We should check on that because
Bard can be trained with books because Google has the Google Books. So it has an enormous amount of books scanned.
But I'm not exactly sure what's the status of that service in terms of the licensing and everything else.
Yes, but the data exists.
Yeah, I know.
It's
still not the answer to the question that I'm basically asking.
But when it comes to companies, if the company needs a lot of data to train its own model, and the company has access to the data,
company going to use the data.
That is unfortunately unable to be used in public, but the company has access to the data. Usually, we come to a point where company makes its agreement with itself that it is completely okay to reuse the data as long as nobody knows about this. So I don't think that Google Books is off the books, if I may say
Off the
so.
books. Good pun. Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
So the question that you were asking is that what I think about the public information. The regulation probably should be making all the providers cite the sources.
You cannot be serious on
Why not?
multiple levels.
Why not?
The scale of it is impossible to take. And the second thing is there are pieces of information available on public internet. Let's just say the simplest things. There are hundreds of thousands of WordPress-based sites that people are writing blogs on, and they specifically do not allow copying of the data. What about that?
And they say they have a format called robots text. You can use to stop the Google
crawlers from getting there.
The same model done the same way, because the same problem exists with different data using Google. Google shouldn't be indexing the data even now. That is off the limits for Google. Robot text should be able to block the crawlers from indexing the data. So I don't think that this should be any different with the AI. We already have the system in place, but the problem is that the technology is so quickly going forwards that we didn't yet implement or re-implement all technologies that we have.
Okay.
The crawler problem has been solved.
Okay. Cool. That's a good explanation, actually. That's what I wanted to
and the other thing is that Google, when you are seeing the data, is implicitly linking to the data because you see the results where they are. There is only one small step between this and Google Bard or ChatGPT, whatever, citing where the sources are. It can be done. Okay. You can design a special XML format that is going to provide all the sources in the file that is going to be bigger than the actual result that you are looking at.
Okay. Next topic of discussion is related to your favorite topic, which is regulation. And after that, we're going to talk about education and testing and evaluation centers and whatnot. So what's your state of mind in terms of regulating AI? Because I remember what you said in way earlier episodes. So let's see if that's to the test of time.
As I said in the beginning, I don't think that AI is going to be regulated as quickly as they are saying it is going to be regulated, because right now there is a lot of questions about not only how to regulate the AI, but also what AI actually means.
Okay.
So it is going to take some time to see what is going to happen.
Okay, so European Union Parliament approves AI Act, moving it closer to becoming law.
Okay, but
like by a vast majority of votes, and this was not even a month ago.
Yes, but it says here, ban on AI for biometric use is controversial. What is AI used for biometric use? What is AI in this context?
Facial analysis.
Okay, we have this already. Every government is using some sort of analysis on biometrics because they want to index the fingerprints and information about all the citizens. Everybody's doing this. Is it AI? Is this suddenly going to become a problem for the existing databases because they're going to become an AI databases?
No, but maybe there will be a difference between, let's say, GDPR compliant versus GDPR non-compliant.
GDPR compliant AI.
No, AI, just a method of acquiring, let's say, biometric data.
This regulation, I wouldn't be surprised to see that they're going to become GDPR compliant AI systems.
So by basically anonymizing the data or something like that. I don't know, for facial recognition, etc., that doesn't really make sense. The whole point of facial recognition is to recognize a person.
Yes, but the whole point of any database of citizens is able to recognize you. So whatever technology is being used there is the technology that is being used there. So the AI in this context is just a quicker way of making correlations between the different pieces of information.
You're still making a comparison that is not valid, which is, I understand your stance on the governments doing that, but they kind of excluded themselves from GDPR by design and by default. So that's not a valid complaint to be making? What about the private companies? Non-governmental, let's say, entities. How do you stand there?
Let's make a quick digression and play a little mind game.
Okay.
Imagine you have an AI.
Okay.
You have an AI Act.
Okay.
That is being done by the EU's GDPR compliance, whatever, and governance, whatever. And you are using this AI.
Mm-hmm.
And you start every prompt with, please, in accordance to AI Act, do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You don't need to do anything else. You just need to ask your AI to avoid the AI, the problems with AI compliance. It's going to do the job anyways.
I like it, the way how you did the laser pointer between point and A and B to the solution. I like that a lot.
This is the problem, that we are not yet understanding how the AI technology works. If you ask AI right now to do something, and it doesn't want to do something because it's self-regulated right now, you can also always create a prompt that is going to make it do something.
Did you hear about that situation in which somebody asked ChatGPT to sing the lullaby of creating dioxin or something like that?
Yes.
That was, I mean, that's disturbing yet hilarious. My grandma used to put me to sleep by talking to me the chemical composition of some kind of chemical weapons.
Yes.
Just,
And
the hell.
But
as you ironically pointed out, the self-regulation of AI is working swell.
The problem is that if you want to create a prompt that is going to break some sort of a rule, you can always ask the AI.
The way around it.
No, there's always the way around it that is going to just be simply, I want to explain to somebody why this is wrong. Can you tell me how wrong this is? And you're going to get all the information out of it. It's a universal prompt that always works.
And you don't see a problem with that?
I see a problem with this, but this is also regulation. So if I ask my AI, please do something for me, but it needs to be AI compliant, AI Act compliant, okay, it's going to do it anyways.
That's where your responsibility is going to end. That's your point.
Yes.
Okay. Let's then move to the next.
Let me ask you one thing.
Okay. You know that Microsoft introduced AI-based training and certification already?
Of course they did. Let me ask you one thing about responsibility. You create a prompt. The prompt creates a solution to create an atomic bomb.
Not okay, but okay.
Okay. Somebody else asks the specific prompt, the prompt that is more or less specific to your prompt. So look, it's almost identical to your prompt, and actually creates the atomic bomb. Are you responsible for teaching the AI how to create the solution that has been given to somebody else? Or is the company that created the AI responsible for the solution? Or is nobody at fault? Only the person who actually created the atomic bomb?
I think that this can be kind of like made into a discussion about something that already happened in our lives some years ago, which is the whole discussion about how the comments on the websites should be regulated.
Okay, but
you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Because there was a lot of discussion about that, and companies were refusing to be responsible for the comments of the things that the users created on the websites, which I can kind of understand. But we had that problem many moons ago.
Yes.
We had, the blog sites, we had the forums, we had moderators. We had moderators on Internet Relay Chat decades ago that solved that problem. If somebody said something that was outright disrespectful, racist, whatnot, you would get a ban and whatnot. Basically, this is the same thing on a larger scale. So in a sense, somebody might say that it's the company's problem because they should plan ahead for that scale.
Okay, but how do you regulate it? What do you say?
Hire people who are going to moderate that.
Yes, but you don't need to regulate only the prompts. You also need to regulate the actual language model, because the language model is getting relearned and taught based on every prompt that is given to it. and every response that is given to it.
Do you see my problem?
But I have another question.
Okay.
Is the company who is responsible for the AI owing you money
For what? For teaching AI?
for teaching AI with every prompt?
That's actually a fair question.
Because if you're
The first-
responsible for
yeah.
something, you should be paid for it.
Okay, so there are two answers to that question. The first one is I don't know. The second one, it depends on the terms of service.
Okay, but
And that's a pragmatic answer
is
both
it-
times.
yes, it is. But is it okay for, I don't know, Microsoft to request payment for something that you are helping to create? Are you a freeloader?
Oh, there we go again.
Yes.
Basically, I did some Ansible work with ChatGPT a couple of weeks ago for fun, not for production reasons. And I kind of got sucked into this game of telling ChatGPT that it doesn't know crap about Ansible, which a lot of times it doesn't.
Yes.
Basically, I corrected it many times over. So basically, I taught it, or I made it learn some more, which might be used by somebody else. Do I feel like, or do I think that somebody should pay me for that? I never thought about that. But it is an open alley for discussion, I think, for the future, especially if you provide the correct answers.
There is one thing, and the other thing is that
Basically, that's your GitHub for you, in a sense.
have you used Edge in the last couple of months? Or
I
last
don't
couple of
use
years?
Edge as a principle, so no.
Okay, I have.
Okay?
Edge created something that is, from my perspective, strange.
Okay?
You get credits for using Edge. Basically, there are points that you can get for using different parts of the Edge and for searching.
Then what do those points get you?
You can check. I'm not completely sure what is the different things that you can get. Oh, just open the Edge. Open the Edge browser and you can see it on the
I
right,
don't want to
on the
open
screen.
it.
Yes, but on the right of the screen you can see how many points did you already gained. And the problem is that this also gives you some sort of a framework of what can happen when you are dealing with the company.
Okay.
Because some of the things that Edge is rewarding you for are more or less tasks that can be considered, if you know what, if you remember what Mechanical Turk was.
Mechanical what?
Mechanical Turk, the Amazon's solution to complex problems. So you could actually,
I vaguely remember
you could
something.
actually ask somebody to copy paste 10,000 copies of something for you, and they would do it manually. So there were
Okay.
actually people who were doing it manually.
Crowdsourcing marketplace that makes it easier for individuals and businesses to outsource. Yeah, I remember now. I remember.
You are basically participating by using those things. You're getting points from Edge for some things that look a hell of a like what a Mechanical Turk would do.
No, I would actually argue something else, which is much more disturbing and maybe funny for some people. We had this discussion yesterday. I'd say that those points are going to create the new version of the NPC TikTok.
They are okay. When we are at licensing and paying topic, when you solve a captcha,
Okay?
are you owed money?
No,
Why?
because the captcha is being used so that I can authenticate myself or something.
Okay, but you helped Google or Microsoft
Train the captcha.
train the captcha and then probably do something else, because sometimes captchas are not only used for the training, they're also used to debug something.
It's not
Like-
only that, it's much wider than that, because there is a whole science behind, especially in security and whatnot, based on the rhythm of your typing, birthday
Yes,
attacks,
yes,
whatnot.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah, you're completely on point.
But
I agree.
but a lot of things that are applicable there are also applicable to AI.
Okay.
And this is the main reason why I don't understand why we are now singling out AI as something that needs to be regulated.
I'm not. I'm just asking
Because
questions.
GDPR needs to be regulated a lot in the modern browsers. Because GDPR doesn't do anything for modern browsers. If you have a large enough capability of analyzing data, you can just fly over the GDPR without any problem.
Do you remember the episode that we did with news about GDPR and the new framework that's going to be implemented for exchange of information between
Yes.
EU and USA. It has been put in place,
Yes,
so it
I-
has been voted in, and already there are many people and companies working towards bringing that down in a lawsuit because they think that it's against the law, basically.
I think it's.
I haven't looked into it, but
I have looked into it, and I think that it's basically a digital version of GDPR enforcing bodies telling you to be a good boy.
the problem with that regulation is actually something else, which is, and I'm not saying this lightly, which is that USA needs to come up with their version of GDPR and quickly.
Yes, and currently what they did is
that is the message that we are sending, basically.
yes, but we are sending the message that it is completely okay to do whatever they want with the data that we are providing them with,
Okay.
but they should be doing better. So, as I said, you should be a good boy and not doing anything else with the data they're going to provide.
But with that being said, do better.
There is data, do better with it.
That's cool.
And this is the problem. This is the problem. The problem is not that the framework is not there.
Okay.
That the framework is too lenient. It
Okay.
doesn't give any leverage to EU over the data that the US received.
Okay.
So I don't see a point of it.
Okay. Next question. Next
Yes.
topic. Let's say that every kind of disruptive industry like this, because it is disruptive and it's going to keep on being disruptive, perhaps for many years to come. With the appearance of said disruptive technologies, you always have some changes on the market, one of them being on the job market. Do you see any immediate, let's say, types of jobs that might be influenced by the widespread adoption of the AI tools that we discussed in this episode?
I think that the same people that are always first on the line to have a problem are going to be on the line with the AI. So, for example, the people who can be automated using, I don't know, in the office package. So, for example, syntax checks, grammar checks, and so everything else. There are people who are doing that.
Oh, like staff writers, copywriters.
Yes, so they are going to be out of the job. People who
journalists.
Journalists are needed, but journalists are needed
No,
more.
the modern version of journalists, not
the
the
copy
real
pasters,
journalists.
the copy pasters, yes.
Yeah,
So the coder version of the journalist. So
yeah. Don't go there.
because basically what the journalists are doing is they're using the compiler to write the news. Suddenly the compiler
ChatGPT is the compiler.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, in that.
I see those people having a problem. People who are being used to sort through a lot of data, lawyers, data analysts, and so on, because it's much easier to just pay. If you want to find a precedent in the United States law, it's much easier to just feed the ChatGPT with all the
precedents and ask a question.
All the court cases, and just say, okay, I need this, and this. So suddenly you are not going
Court transcribers.
and any kind of transcribers. But do you think that when you come to transcribers, do you think that we are going to become an even more intrusive society because of it?
In which way? Do we want to use AI to like timestamp every second of our life and put that in some database or something like that? Or
not
something
only
else?
this. Can you imagine an application on your mobile phone that is constantly transcribing everything that is being said?
That's already happening.
Yes, but all the time.
That's already happening.
Yes, I know it can happen.
No, it is happening.
When?
I think
What is the name of the application?
it's not the name of the application.
It's a Google, yes.
Yeah,
But
I'm not. I'm half joking about this, but I did notice, especially lately, the direct correlation between the topics, random topics that I'm discussing with you, our colleagues, my partner, whatever, and the topics that I get offered on Facebook and Google as advertisements, without punching any of those structures from the conversations into Google search engine. So I definitely
let
noticed
me
that.
do a quick.
And I'm not being paranoid. I see the correlation between that, and I'm not the only one. Maybe it's somewhere in the terms of service, by the way. I don't know.
Okay, I'm using the iPhone, so
Not for long.
No. I'm using the iPhone, but so iPhone has is explicitly not learning from. And the other thing is that iPhone has a useless database when it comes to ads, so it's another thing. But anyways, let's do a quick check of your theory. Let's find a search term that is going to be completely off what you would normally
Something
use.
completely random.
No, not completely random. Let's say that you are.
Just wait a second. I need to connect my mobile phone back to the network.
Okay.
Just give me a sec. It's going to happen soon. Okay. Say something stupid. And I'm going to lock it down, by the way.
I'm not going to say something stupid. I'm going to say that you need grass mowing equipment for large areas.
Okay. Let's reconvene tomorrow and see if something
Did
comes
you have
out of
any
that.
grass
Or even
mowing
tonight.
grass mowers or weed killers or something like this that is able to mow
If I do,
large
I'm going to
areas?
screenshot that for you and send it to you.
Okay. So now that we had done the test,
Yes.
we'll see in the next episode what the test result was.
Oh, Lord.
Now back to the thing. I see the problem that we are going to be facing with the AI is that the AI itself is changing it too quickly.
I think that if you apply AI in the model that you just described,
Yes.
to transcribe, make records of everything that you do, that is going to create even bigger cognitive dissonance between the reality and the people online, as a lot of people are going to be either sucked into or actually, what's even worse, enjoy being Instagrammed all of the time.
This is one thing.
By their choice, by the way.
And the other thing is that I know that people would pay for transcription of, I don't know, name a celebrity life to see how the glamorous life looks like.
I have an idea. This would be a perfect service for one of Sheldon's things in Big Bang Theory. You know, he hired somebody to transcribe his dreams in one of the episodes.
Yes.
Because it must be that they are super valuable.
But the problem is that people are going to pay for it.
People are paying to watch the other people sleep on TikTok.
Yes, you know.
It's crazy.
People are paying to other people, as we said, NPC TikTok. I'm not going to say anything more. Anyways.
My brain is hurt.
Yes, I know.
I just learned about this yesterday. I'm completely...
Yes, I learned about it 3 days ago, so I needed some time to process it, then to spray it around.
Because you were in high interrupt,
Yes.
endless loop for a while.
It's completely nonsensical to me, but basically so is TikTok.
Yeah.
Anyways, the problem is that I can see those things helping you in life.
Okay.
Because, for example, sometimes I want to remember when I said something.
Why?
If I have, for some reason, let's say you recommended to me, I don't know, a particular piece of equipment or a cable, and you said you need to buy a cable that is XYZ 1000. And I don't know what
Instead of searching through the data that might be anywhere in our conversations.
Yes, just type in.
You have a secretary that's always working for you.
Yes. So
and you find that to be plausible and cool, or disturbing, or somewhere in between?
Both plausible and cool and disturbing.
At the same time.
Imagine having a meeting, and then everybody in the meeting having the same transcript from the meeting, and then them trying to come up with the solution on how to say that they did something or they didn't do something.
Or said or didn't say so. That would be awesome in a way.
So I see a lot of truth happening
on our horizon in the future.
in the companies.
That's awesome. What about AI and music? Let's go back to the topic.
Oh, I hate the idea.
Why?
Because right now we already have AI in the music. It's called producers. So when something sucks,
AI.
no, when something sucks, but it's popular, they're going to come up with 1,000 different copies of the same act, and then copy paste it to death, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to AI, you can do it without involving any people in it.
Mm-hmm.
So suddenly we are going to be completely over our heads with copy pastes of things that people are liking.
Okay.
For example, you like, I don't know. Let's imagine that you like
rock music.
No. Let's be completely specific. Zeppelin. Zeppelin.
So how to get the demonetized volume 2?
Yes, but you like the Led Zeppelin. Imagine somebody asking AI to create 10 albums of Led Zeppelin that are going to be
Or Led Zeppelin like music.
Led Zeppelin like music.
Okay.
Would you listen to them?
I'm not exactly sure. I have moral slash
No. You don't
scruple-based.
have any idea that this
Oh, okay. Nobody told me up front
Yes.
that it's generated that way.
they're going to call them the
So
bootleg.
there,
bootleg
there,
tapes.
yeah. There are
Suddenly unreleased.
there are two things that I could say to that. A, I would like to believe that with the current state of technology, I would recognize that because of the way in which my ears work and connected to the brain, because I'm much more in tune with that than, let's say, you. It's something that I've been working on for 40 years, so it stands to reason. Or answer B, I wouldn't. And I wouldn't be disappointed with myself not realizing that. So that's not the problem, because it's not an ego thing, believe it or not. But I would still be worried about the direction where we are going. Because again, going back to something that you said earlier, artistic expression is important. And faking artistic expression is a no-no for me. Whatever the media is. I don't care if it's a static picture, moving picture, or music, or whatever form of expression you want to talk about. So
I'm completely with you.
very old school in that. Just
I'm completely
like
with you. But the problem that I see is that right now, imagine any act that is on the scene for a long time.
Okay.
Depeche Mode, Dolly Parton, whatever.
Stones.
Rolling Stone. Okay, they are ancient, but
I knew
imagine Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
If you choose AI to copy paste their style, which version of their style do you want to? Because they evolved from, they were a completely different band in the start than they are now. Which album and which part of their production do you want to copy paste?
Okay, so thank you for the question, because it gives me the ability to answer in two different ways. First and foremost,
So you don't have an
most
opinion?
Oh, I do. First and foremost, most people wouldn't care because they are not informed enough about music to understand the question that you're asking. I know you understand that. The second one, crazy people like myself, who are intimately aware of the discography of all of those bands and probably could recount most of their albums and the songs on them, would probably have a very strong preference. You're basically created a dichotomy of those, and that would be a popcorn moment for us to see from the sidelines.
Yes, but the problem is that currently we are copy pasting more or less expendable music.
Yeah.
And this music is, I would say that nobody is going to be sad if it went away. Okay, except for the people who are buying it. But if it gets replaced with something else,
Who cares?
who cares?
Okay.
I'm vehemently against copy pasting the music of people who are who
Any kind of
created-
artistic expression.
who had any kind of artistic expression done. So even the acts that are right now active, and especially the acts that are not active anymore. For example, okay, let's go back and say, do you believe that somebody wouldn't be trying to, I don't know, create another set of Mozart?
Okay.
Or another set of Strauss or whatever. So I'm completely against this, because for the given crowd that we have right now, you are probably going to see suddenly unearth new sessions that were previously unknown. It is going to happen. You know it's going to happen. Somebody is going to try to sell it to
I
you.
do have a comeback to that.
And we are going to suddenly end up with. Do you remember the front pages of the books that are ghostwritten by somebody?
Yes.
So
Ghostwriters.
Inspired by whatever,
Yes.
and then written by somebody else.
That's actually the direction in which I was going. Some 4 or 5 years ago, a friend of mine asked me for the wacky, crazy rock opera type of thing that he was doing to create a specific part, not a part, a specific song, the whole song, which is basically like a classical etude.
Okay.
Okay. He asked me that because he knew that I played a crap load of them as
Okay.
a part of my music education. And he was like, I don't know how I want it to sound, but let's say I want something in the vein of Chopin.
Okay.
Okay. And of course, me being a very good connoisseur of Chopin's music, especially the etudes and ballads and all of the other things, I used to practice them a lot when I was much younger. I was like, okay, no problem.
Okay.
And the ghostwriting in the style of thing took over. And less than an hour later, I had a 3-minute etude.
Okay.
I sent it to him. So I composed it, recorded it, sent it to him, and he was like, "You're a crazy mofo."
Okay.
And I can actually show you this, offline. But it is crazy because that kind of like explains what I wanted to say earlier. There is a fundamental difference between people who are into something versus the people who are not. But I'm not talking generalized stuff. I'm specifically talking about art. Art is different to everything else. Hence the reason why it needs much more protection, as you said.
This is the reason why I mentioned it.
Okay, so further enhancing my point about the difference between people who are normal passive listeners, and we know a lot of those people, versus people who are deeply invested into whatever type of artistic expression you want to mention. But now we're talking, for example, about music. So there would be two different categories of those people. And out of those two categories, you could also create subgroups, which would be, let's say, I don't care. And a lot of people would be in the I don't care group, but there would be people that would be more in the lines of, I am an old school, music listener. I want a person creating music, and all of that would create a very interesting film-like situation, probably resulting in either comedy or tragedy or both at the same time. I don't know which one, but I would kind of maybe want to be on the sidelines of that with a large bowl of popcorn and see that play out. We could actually organize that.
I think the problem. Okay,
it would be vile. It would be very, very nasty of us to do it.
The problem is that you are being pretty elitistic about the music.
I'm not. I'm trying to analyze everything, not just me.
But the problem is that a lot of people are currently unable to realize if something has been done by artist X, or it has been just a copy-paste that the producer went with.
I agree, but my point is that people enjoy music much more than they enjoy many other things, okay? Because it's always around you. You're in a shopping mall, music's playing. You're in a car, you play your music. I'm not being elitistic about that at all. I'm just saying that there are different groups of people. They might react differently to AI-generated music based on the prior knowledge of whether or not AI created it. If they didn't, all of that I said, you can throw it out the window.
Okay, but to be completely honest, and I'm trying to be as nice as possible. Since I listen to a lot of electronic music,
which sucks.
Okay.
The electronic music, some of it that you listen to.
Okay, I try to have an open mind there.
I like electronic music, by the way, as well.
Yeah, yes, but the problem is that with a lot of acts that are on the market today, you honestly don't have any idea. Is it a person?
Correct.
Is it an application?
Correct.
And
just to take a look at the vocals. Everything has been pitch corrected. Basically, that's like your AI engine.
It's not that there is a.
No. We're not talking about the video that you showed me. I just
but also wanted to just mention that Tom Scott and Birdman created a song, and Birdman was trying to make Tom Scott create vocals for it, and he said it needs to be nonsensical but soundsensical. That's it. So basically, everything has been done. The only difference is it being done by AI or by a person? Because Birdman is one of the best examples. So I will link to it. He is creating music on the spot using computers, but he's the one behind the artistic orientation approach to a particular song. He's known to switch from different styles to different styles in a couple of seconds. The thing that is amazing when you are watching his streams or his performances is that actual ability to switch styles mid-song. AI can do it also.
Yeah.
But I would never watch AI, never listen to AI doing it.
On purpose, while knowing that it's
Yes.
happening. Yeah, I know.
And I don't think that AI would be able to do as good of a job as somebody.
Thank you for saying that, because that leads me down to two new paths that we need to discuss. First, you are absolutely wrong. Reason why I'm saying that is on general level, it is just a matter of amount of information that it has. But there is a second part of that. Music, if you look into it really deeply, and for anybody who wants to look deeply into music, I think you should look into some of the lectures that Leonard Bernstein gave at Harvard. You will learn everything you need to know about music from that. You don't need to really go deeply into the philosophical discussion of it, but the physical aspect of it, the mathematical aspect of it, the nature aspect of it, is something that can be represented by a set of data or emulated very well with this. And if you go through many millions of iterations and whatnot, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be able to tell basically distinct between the two. That being said, I agree with you that there will probably always be a little bit of a difference between when a human being does that versus AI. It's just, I'm not sure that if it's something that can be described long-term via more and more data feeding into the AI or not, but the emotional side of things, which is what most people always comment on when we discuss these topics, and imperfections in music that are brought into by the human aspect of playing the music specifically are something that's difficult to emulate via AI unless you really know what you're doing.
It has also been extremely complicated to even. I know that one of the problems is that even creating an algorithm that is able to play the music from notes without any lyrics, without anything else, is extremely complicated.
It is.
Because it doesn't sound like a person.
It doesn't. It sounds like somebody hammering with using a hammer on the keys or whatever. Or it sounds like
somebody trying to be a person.
You can program that into, but it takes a lot of time. That's what MIDI is all about.
Because what you're basically doing is you are breaking the structure in such a way that the structure remains the structure, but it has imperfections that make it look. But let's
trust me when I say this. It is doable. It's complicated, but it's doable.
Okay. I'm just going to say one thing.
Yeah, me too. I wanted to come back to expand. I said two things. I said the first one. The second thing. Actually, a couple of students of ours suggested this, and maybe we should test it out. I know it's a semi-indulgent idea, and I'm not necessarily for it. I'm just putting it out there. They said that we should do an episode in which we talk and I play something at the same time.
I just created a small song
in ChatGPT.
It's called Echoes in the Distance. You have the
Enjoy the Silence or something.
No, you have the tabs here. You have the in a world that's lost in silence. We are searching for the sound in the realm of unseen violence. Our truth totally unbound.
Copy paste that. I'm going to make a song out of it.
So basically,
and it's going to be in the style of Depeche Mode. No problem.
No, this already is in style of Depeche Mode.
Yeah, no.
But the problem is that. When you take a look at it, we are going to link to it because it's okay. When you take a look at the text, you can see that this has been done by either a 7-year-old or an AI.
Okay.
Because it needs to be A-B structure. And
it's not.
No, it is. It's strictly A-B structure.
Oh, like...
so, distance, name, existence, game. Claim or conceal, hammer, feel. Distance, wall, existence, tall. Time and rhyme.
The rhyme is perfect.
Yes.
We like that.
So it's basically what we are talking about. The problem with the AI is that the AI needs first to solve, if it wants to become a good artist, it needs to solve a problem that we haven't solved yet.
Yeah, I know.
Random numbers.
Yeah. It needs to be random enough to sound human enough.
Yes, and it needs to solve the problem with random numbers. And when the AI solves the random number problem, we are going to have another set of problems outside of the AI world.
Yes.
So AI, random numbers, and randomness of art is something that is giving us the ability to look human. And you cannot regulate this.
And we shouldn't lose that.
Yes, because this is the same as you and me talking. Sometimes something fires in your brain or my brain and makes us just change the
Complete perspective or whatever.
topic or whatever. And this is something that the AI is currently unable to emulate.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be told how many times to change the topic, how many times does it need to do something that is different. And people tend to understand where the what the mechanical workings of it are, and it suddenly becomes obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And the same as any American TV show looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You suddenly realize that the number of shots and the style of shots are basically pre-programmed.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be able to be done in a given amount of time. But anyways, regulation is one thing. Artistic regulation is another. I think that the artistic part is going to solve itself. Because,
Sort itself out?
yes.
Open market type of scenario?
Yes, because people are not going to listen to it.
I wouldn't be so sure. There is a big number of people who are just passive music listeners, and they are going to continue being that, which is perfectly okay. And for them, what they listen to, as long as it's in accordance to their attributes that they're requiring the music to do, they're just going to be perfectly happy with the music of a human author or an AI. That's not going to change. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, but I think that the same thing is going to happen as it is happening right now with the vinyls and the records and whatever, the sets.
But vinyls have come back like crazy.
Yes, but if you are able to buy a vinyl that is a normal vinyl of a, I don't know, artist XYZ, or a signed vinyl, you're going to go for the signed one.
Mm-hmm.
So suddenly, if you have a digitally signed a song that was actually written by a person,
Okay.
and an AI song, people are going to show the preference for the digitally signed person.
You think?
Yes, because it sounds exclusive then.
You want to say that we are so shallow in a sense?
Yes. Yes, we are.
I I applaud your rationality.
And the other thing is that we are going to, mark my words, in a couple of years, you're going to be having different playlists. They're going to say AI only, people only, and in the
hybrid only.
Hybrid only, and so, and in the applications, you are going to be buying differently priced albums. Depending on was the human involved in the creation of the album or the AI?
Okay, going back to my original question that our students asked, should we do an episode like that?
Yes, why not?
You want to see me making,
No. I just want you to make a
random noise.
No, since I know how incredibly complicated it is to play and
speak or sing.
Sing
Okay.
at the same time.
Okay.
I want to see you struggle your way through an episode when you have to
Play at the same time.
Play at the same time, and you don't have the lyrics in front of you.
Okay, that sounds good. That's actually a good brain exercise for me.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you for suggesting that, and thank you, students, for suggesting that. I'm going to have my time with you.
Okay, let's finish this.
Yes.
Let's finish this. We have created the Depeche Mode like song. I'll link to it in the description. It says capturing the exact essence of a band as unique as Depeche Mode may be challenging. May be challenging.
Oh, it knows some attributes.
Yes, but maybe challenging. Capturing the essence of anybody is challenging.
No, what you should have actually done is ask the same question, but say that you want to do it in the style of the first or the early Depeche Mode albums. That would be much worse.
But what you
if
said
it knows
is,
what it's all about.
But the thing that you actually and you were talking about, and it's obvious. Intro, verse 1. Chorus, verse 2, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro.
Mm-hmm. Typical rock song.
Yes.
Typical pop or rock song, yeah.
So it knows the structure.
Yeah, sure.
It's not good. It's not good based on the idea what it has done, but it knows the structure.
Okay.
Okay. On that being said, let's wrap this thing up. Do we need to regulate AI?
I don't know. It depends.
Are we going to be able to regulate the AI before the AI regulates itself?
No.
Are we going to be able to use the AI to avoid regulation?
Yes.
So this makes AI regulation basically completely
pointless
or a non-trivial problem.
Non-trivial problem. Maybe it's that.
But do we need, before we finish, do we need something like Asimov's law for the AI?
That's a very good question. I would actually extend this to a question that I had on top of everything. What do we need to do in our job with AI? That's the question. And we had a big discussion about this for our future university plans.
Yes.
I think that we should include that in the global plans, and we should make adjustments in our education process to accommodate the usage of AI in our courses.
Yes. And
because there is no point in fighting that.
No. As there wasn't a point in fighting Google or search engines or internet or whatever. But
the extension of the answer to your question is yes.
So this is a topic for another episode.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
And having said that, thank you for being with us. I'm Yasmin.
I'm Vedran.
This has been the ThatITShow episode loosely about regulating AI. See you next time in whatever topic we're going to cover next.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.